マリサーズルームへようこそ。今日のゲストはですね、ブレンドン君をお呼びしています。今日はありがとうございます。来てくれて、2026年初の、対談コーナーです。なんとブレンドン君23歳。
そうです。
で、何やられてる方なのかしら。
はい、今 SNS とかデジタルマーケティング、今やってます。はい、
で、今日はもう23歳。ね、私ちょっと息子がもう今年21歳なんで、ママだよね。だから、息子とはよく話すけども、初めましてだし、で、ブレンドン君1年半日本に。
そうです。
ね、アメリカ出身で。
アメリカ出身で1年半。 そうです。
日本に来て。
そうです。卒業したらすぐ日本に引っ越しました。
なんで引っ越してきたの日本に？
いや、私の家族が日本人で、日本の文化ちょっともっと知りたい。
知りたい。
そうです。
Oh, that's really great. Okay. What do you think about mental health in Japan? And I wrote a book actually about mental health that I went through. So how I became aware, one of the reasons was that I went to this retreat, and I was like mind-blowing experience. And that experience led me to understand about myself more, and it changed my life, right? And I think for my age, I'm 47 next month. Understanding at this age was, of course, hard too, right? Because you're kind of going inward, not outward, right? But at this age, when I was 23, I didn't even. What the heck is mental health, right? What is trauma? What is all this, right? And you're not really dealing or per se understanding the character. So at your age, what do you think? In the US, did we talk about this a lot?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, I'm able to talk about it now pretty easily because I've been dealing with it ever since I was even 12 years old or whatnot. So for me, it's a much easier topic to talk about. I do think, especially speaking to maybe some of my Japanese friends, or it can be a much more, maybe not taboo topic, but it is harder for them to maybe open up or tell you their honne, their real feelings. I do think that can be harder for Japanese people. I do think especially maybe they learn how to deal with problems much later in life, potentially.
そうだよね。I totally get it. I feel like culturally speaking, talking about who you are
for sure
as a depth of the truth, right? It's really, really hard because you want to put the layers and the veils in front of you, and you don't want to show who you are, truly are. You just talking about all the good stuff, right? But this is life. We all go through ups and downs. And Japanese people are looking at my YouTube. Thank you so much. But then talking about mental health, right? I think we don't really see that in Japan so much.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, at least, not to categorize or anything like that, but I do feel like it is easier to talk to my Western friends a bit more in depth about why are you sad, or how are you doing okay, 本当に大丈夫ですかって聞いて、all my Japanese people that just be like 大丈夫とか頑張るとか、でもit's okay to not be 大丈夫、大丈夫じゃないって言っても OK. I do think, at least for me, in America, I really love to have people over at my place, and then we can kind of talk maybe a bit more in depth about you're having issues with this in your life, why are you having that? And I do think a lot of Japanese people, they go out to have dinner or talk. Maybe it's not as intimate in that way, but when you have somebody or have people over, you can kind of really open up in a safe space, みたいな. I do think that could have a contributing factor in terms of being able to be a bit more intimate or open up to your close friends.
I feel like safe place is a huge key, right? Who we can be safe around and feel safe around. And I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but I feel like it's so hard to have that
for sure
space. And okay, so for instance, in Japan, therapy,
Yeah.
right? Where do you find a therapist,
Yeah.
right? And where do you find the people who we can just talk to, right?
For sure.
Instead of just going to mental health hospital, which is like in Japan,
Yeah.
they all go, if there's an issue, they go to mental health hospital and they get medication, right? I mean, of course, medication is important in some way, but then at the same time, I think talking therapy could work. And there's a lot of different things that we can do in the US, right?
For sure.
To explore and to understand the mental health and overcome it.
For sure.
Right, but I think in Japan it's really, really difficult.
Yeah, I think, at least from my experience, getting the medication for like my mental health issues was like relatively easy. I just make an appointment online and I go in, they talk to me, and then I pick it up. Yeah, and I pick it up same day. I do think finding a therapist was much harder. I think without my mom's help, without her help, I think it would have been very difficult for me to find a therapist, as well as it felt like there wasn't a lot of options.
I feel like, age too, right? I mean, you mentioned that you had some mental health issues, not issues, but they had to face, and you're like 12, you said?
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like, and you just told me that your mother was a key to help you.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, as young age as 12, myself too, that is like becoming a teenager age, right? You deal with a lot of things,
for sure.
right? School, not just your parents or just school or your friends, all of that place. And where these kids talk about it, right? And then hopefully the parents, right? That's the best place, the safest place, I think, for the kids to talk is in front of the parents, right? And the parents, how can we help the kids to find the doctors or, therapists or whatever, the coaches or whatever that can help the kids?
Yeah. At least talking to my mom initially, it was very difficult because she is grown up in Japan. It was hard for her initially because she didn't understand. Like I had to ask for therapy like multiple times, like when I was younger, and she just didn't really know like what that meant. So it was definitely a learning experience, I guess, for me and for her as like a family. I think the first step is the most difficult, whether it's for a parent getting their child help or whether it's help for yourself. At least the first few times I saw therapy, like I knew I needed it, but like I didn't want to talk. So I went in there and I talked to my therapist and I was just like, I don't want to talk. And then we just like played Uno for like an hour. And then eventually, with consistency, I kept going. Then I was able to kind of like fully talk about it and fully open up. And now I can open up like no problem. I think in Asian culture, like as a guy, I'm supposed to be like tsuyoi toka.
You're supposed to cry, you're supposed to do this and that, right?
I think it can be really difficult for men, especially maybe Japanese men, where emotion is maybe not as acceptable, maybe potentially, especially for guys. Like maybe you're talking to your friend and they're just like, yo, like what the heck are you talking about? Or like they'll just be like, grow up, be a man, that type of deal.
But isn't it getting easier nowadays as, in America, I only know America and Japan. But there are a lot of people talking about self-help, right? Care. What do you think about that as a in your 20s?
I think self-help is like super important and it's like, it's very refreshing and nice to see that rise in popularity.
In Japan, what do you think about how people deal with their emotions and when they need these help? What do you think, how we can, I mean, I don't know. And on my YouTube channel, I'm kind of openly talking about myself. I think I want to talk more about it per se, so that people can see, oh my God, this lady, Marissa, okay, she has all these types of, that's a part of me, right? And being aware of who I am, right? And being aligned of like, okay, who I want to become, right? And then who I want to become and how I can like focus here first, right? And then my son is almost going to be 21. I learned that I had to change before, and I had to go inward, and I had to heal, and I had to do all of that work before I could understand my children.
Yeah, sure.
So when I did all of that, and when I really, really tried to work on myself and understand who I am and became who I want to become, right? And going through all these emotions and mistakes and all that and becoming who I am now helped me really listen to my son and have that space for him. Be like, okay, like you just said that boys shouldn't cry, boys should be strong, right? You shouldn't really not have problems per se, but be more like, okay, be masculine, right? But then I think I have more sensitivity towards that and be like, hey, you know, man, you can cry, right? We're all humans, you know, be angry, cry, be sad, and show your emotions. I'd rather have my children show me that emotion so that I can help them, right? And guide them to these people that they may need. Maybe because all these problems, maybe they can't share everything with mom, but then they could share with therapists or counseling or coaches, right? There's a lot of options, and then sharing those options and so that my kids can kind of go to wherever and be comfortable. I think that's really important, and in Japan it's really difficult.
In Asian culture in general, definitely Japan, I think just opening up to whoever it is, whether it's your mom, your therapist, or your close friends, I think having that space, that safe space, like you said, where you can kind of open up and talk, I think is really important. I think Tokyo especially can feel very cold a lot of the time. When you go hang out, you know, you're only hanging out to go drink or go do whatever activity. So maybe there's not as much space for kind of those deep talks or that sort of thing.
Totally. Like for the work too, right? All this stress at work, who do you talk to, right? When you have all this stress and you just like have everything go inside, all this energy go inside you, and then you just become like you're so like drenched with all this emotions or whatever we go through. And you know, I don't know, I feel like, wow, like how do people deal with that?
And I think eventually it kind of bubbles up, reaches the limit, and then it'll kind of come out in inappropriate ways, where people are kind of maybe not able to express what they're feeling like properly. So I do think, like you said, that safe space is like so important.
So important, right? Whoever that is. It can be your best friend, it can be your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever, right? Having that safe place and being with people who feel safe, right? If we can't go to any doctors or therapists, at least we have that person. I think helps a lot.
And that builds like stronger connections as well. Like if you open up to somebody, you know, they'll open up to you next, and you know, you just kind of build that stronger bond. Like my friends back in the US, I can always just be like, hey, like I can text them randomly like, hey, I'm feeling like this way, and they'll just kind of listen or kind of give their input, and having that safe space is for sure.
Do you think it's harder in Japan?
I think it can be. I think for me, I've gotten a lot better at being able to like open up and kind of talk to people. Like if they say like, oh, like, you know, how do you feel, like blah blah blah, like I'm not gonna say like daijoubu. I'm like, ma. Like ちょっとストレスとか. Like I'm like a bit stressed, I'm a bit sad. Like I can just say that.
Your emotions, right? How you feel.
And I think it can be difficult for some people, for sure.
How do you know, you said you go to a therapist, whatever. How else do you deal with your...
I think for me, taking care of my physical body is really important. So whether that's like going to the gym or eating healthy, that really helps me. I know like when I know I'm depressed, like I'm sleeping all day, I'm not doing anything, I'm not eating. I know, because I've had these like issues for a while, I know how to get myself out of it, whether it's like going to the gym or eating healthy. So I'll be like, okay, I need to go to the gym 3 times this week so I can feel good about my body and then kind of work my way inwards. Other times where there's like journaling also really helps if I feel like lost or like kind of confused.
That's amazing.
If I journal, whether it's just like in the train on my way to work, just journal a little bit. Being able to do that is really helpful for me, journaling and probably just exercising.
That's great. I think, you know, at my 20s, man, I've never really thought about my mental health or whatever, like journaling, you know, I'm just like learning at 40s, right? Like, okay, journaling, going inward and understanding myself, who I am and what are my flaws, you know, all of that. And sure, I have trauma, you know, well, that's great. Like I have trauma and how do I overcome it and heal it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then when you heal, there's another layer to it. And there's another layer to it, right?
Like
it's just like, it's never ending healing journey. I mean, I'm still healing for God's sake. I feel like, oh my God, it's never ending.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll go into therapy. I'll be like, oh, I want to talk about this, like this kind of thing in my life. And then I'll be halfway through, I'm like, well, I also have like 10 other things I want to talk about that I want to work through. Just like a never ending, like an onion, just peeling each layer.
So it's never ending. But that's a good thing. It's like, at least for trying to do that, right? And before I was like, what the heck is healing? I've heard of that word, but like, what do you do, right? Sure. But at your age that you know that, that's amazing. You know, and I wish this people who listen to this or like think that, okay, mental health, taking care of yourself is not a bad thing at all. It's so needed. Healing and understanding of all this trauma that we all went through and we all go through something, right? And understanding that and facing it is like so important. That's part of us, right?
For sure. For sure.
いや、23歳ですごいと思う。
ありがとうございます。
それができてるのが、自分のトラウマとか。これね、本当に今日ね、今 YouTube 撮ってくださってる方がいるんです。何歳ですか今？29です。29歳、何歳ですか？20代の方たちが、やっぱりそのトラウマという、今、ブレンドン君はすごい分かってて、多分いろんなワークをしてると思うんだけども、セルフワークって日本ではあります？29歳、セルフワーク、こう、自分のトラウマって何かって言われたらバンって。そうなんだよね。だから多分、この今 YouTube の中でも、やっぱりこのセルフヘルプっていう自分のトラウマとどう向き合うか。この本の一部にも書いてあるんですけども、で、ジャーナリングもやってる。23歳からジャーナリングが分かってたら、もう人生変わってたかなって思う。私も。だからもうちょっとね、なんかこういうのを広めていけたらいいなって思うし、今日もすごいお話ししたんだけどね、もう少しね、日本でね、こういう、like, I wish there's like more of this, like, what do you say? It's like tools for that people can have, right? And then be okay for being who they are, right? And it's not 恥ずかしいことじゃない。どんな自分であっても、これが23歳で分かってるところは素晴らしいよ。本当に。私なんか40歳でもういいやった感じになってるから、どんな自分でも最高って思ってるから、23歳なんて思ってもいなかった。パーフェクトでいたいっていう、弱さを見せたくないっていうのがなんかあって、すごく。でもそれはもう大人になってもそうだったけど、なかなか自分の弱さだったりとか、弱みだったりとか、こう苦しさだったりとかが見せれなかったから、でもそれがあって今の自分じゃない？これからもっとジャーニーが続くね。本当にね。ブレンデンス、今日本当にありがとうございました。こう英語でね、YouTube チャンネル、動画を撮るのって初めてなんですけども、ちょっとね、よかった英語と日本語も使えて、もしかしたら、英語がわかる方も見ていただけるかもしれません。どうぞ、チャンネル登録、いいね、コメント、これからもどうぞよろしくお願いします。